Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to PSO Live, our live stream broadcast on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Glenn Quater. I'm the music director and conductor of Piedmont Symphony Orchestra, and I'm joined by several of my great friends here. Right next to me here is our concertmaster, Lee Brewster. Welcome, Lee.
Oh, thank you for having me, Glenn.
And on the screen here, we have our president, Ernie Huter, and our executive director, Kate Gerritsen. Ernie, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, Glenn.
Great.
It's been a good day, and this is it's going to be an exciting evening.
It sure is. Kate, how are you tonight?
I'm muted, sorry.
There we go.
I am just fine, thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, this is an exciting episode for us because we have a great friend of ours joining us a little bit later, and this entire concert, this part of the concert was built and named for our great friend Carol Hertz, who was involved in the very beginning of our student art contest, which is on our young people's concert. Before we get into that, I'm going to let Ernie talk a little bit. Welcome, everybody. So I'll turn it over to you, Ernie.
Great. Well, welcome, everybody. And this is a dedication to our young people's concert, which is one of my favorite concerts of the year. It really demonstrates a lot of the talent that we have. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, we put this out as a competition to all the students under 18 the day of the performance to 11 counties, and they submit their demo tapes or CDs, and they're judged by a panel of musicians, and it's narrowed down to 3 musicians who will then perform live with the orchestra, and then they do that for scholarship money, and they're judged by 3 judges that are professional musicians, and it's a very exciting thing to see. I mean, if you don't get goosebumps watching a 14-year-old
right.
play the heck out of the piano, of something you always wish you could do, it's just a very exhilarating thing, and it's fun to watch their expressions and their dedication to the art.
Yeah.
So it's a great thing, and we had been awarding scholarship money, and that money was actually doubled this year by the graciousness of the Michael A. Hughes Foundation.
Right.
And we're grateful to them for that. And our money has now risen to $3,000 for first prize, $1,500 for second, and $1,000 for third prize. So we're very proud of our ability to help the students and accentuate what we can do in the schools and perpetuate that. So I'm very, very pleased with that. As we move forward, and as I have said every concert, I have to do a little commercial. So tonight's commercial might be a little bit around home improvement. And I want to call out Golden Rule Builders, Joel Barkman, who they do a great job. You can either have a house built or they can come over and renovate your kitchen or your bathroom. If you need paint, then you can go to the paint shop, which has been a long-time supporter, and Jimmy Timberlake. And then after you're all done, go out to Barrel Oak Winery and have a good sip. Take the dogs. They're open for outside drinking now, so wine tasting. So enjoy and support our supporters and our advertisers.
Fantastic.
Please enjoy the performance and the discussion tonight, and we welcome Carol Hertz, who was president of the PSO when I came aboard.
Yeah.
And she was president for a very long time and did a wonderful job. So we look forward to having her with us tonight.
Great. So, Kate, this concert, as if what Ernie talked about wasn't enough, right? We have our huge scholarship funds that we give for our instrumental performers, and then we have a whole concert themed on this great music in which these kids create artwork based on the music that we pick. So, for us, it's fun. Now, you guys never get to see the slideshows in the orchestra because it's right above your head. And anyway, but so, let's talk about this event. This is a big deal for us, right? We want this to be a big focal point of our season with the kids, namely, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful getting the students involved, not only on a musical level, but in, if someone maybe isn't a musician, but they are an artist, an aspiring artist, they can take the music that we're offering and build artwork on that theme.
Right.
And I think it's a really cool way to connect music to other expressions of art, because it really truly does speak to that. And if it's creating emotions or feelings or colors, you know, a lot of us will say that we hear music in color. So I love seeing how the kids are able to take what they're hearing and what we're playing and performing and turn that into artwork. And I must say that I can see it from my seat because I'm on the edge. And no, but it's not good because I get distracted. I'm trying to play and perform, and I can't look away from the artwork. Yeah. So it's really wonderful, the levels and the amount of art and response that we get from the kids, which is just fantastic.
Yeah. You know, I've been saying for a long time, it would be great if one day we could put together a coffee table book of the last 14 years of art contests artwork. Some of this artwork is just stunning, and it's great to see it through the eyes of a kid in a school program, because our contest runs from elementary all the way through high school. So we have varying perspectives of children with the music and what they portray in their artwork based on what they hear. And we always pick pretty thematic music for the art contest. The ones that we'll be performing tonight, the pieces, we're doing just excerpts from, we're coming back to our favorite Romeo and Juliet, which was our last performance with PSO in February, before we all got locked down. But we're going to do 2 movements from that, and those are the orchestra performing with a few shots of the slideshow in the background. But then we have in the center of the program, after we bring Carol on, we're going to be playing excerpts from Pictures at an Exhibition, which we did last year, and also Grand Canyon Suite, which we did 2 years ago. And we've got some of the best, I don't want to say the best movements because they're both very long pieces. They have a lot of movements, but we picked a handful of each one with the actual artwork being projected in the video tonight. So you'll just see the artwork only with us playing live in the background from that concert. So it's a pretty exciting thing. So what else now? Kay, we've got, I know we've been really trying to refocus the PSO's mission towards helping teachers in schools, and we kind of got stopped this year with the shutdown, but we had so many mentoring sessions scheduled with our school teachers in Fauquier County and elsewhere, and we've got free tickets for our kids. I mean, we're really trying here. Can you talk a little bit more to our audience about the types of things that kids have access to for free through PSO?
Well, right now we're building up our offerings on our YouTube channel. So anything that you're seeing on this Facebook page is going to be up on YouTube. We have a lot of videos on our website as well. And we're trying to figure out how we can still serve the students and the teachers of the community going into the next school year. I'm a parent with 3 young children, and I am inundated with emails from the school system. Everyone's trying to figure out what to do, how to handle this safely. And, I think we have to plan for not being able to get into the classroom in person. But we have so much technology at our fingertips right now that I almost think it's a great opportunity to expand what we're able to do, because if we can give them virtual resources, then we can expand our offerings. We don't have to just go in for a session or 2. We can continue to interact with these kids and the teachers as well and help them through a hard time. As we're all going to be dealing with that together. Absolutely.
And PSO is definitely very serious about that commitment to young people, young musicians, young artists in general. But it feels good to do that kind of work with PSO. We really take that seriously. And if you have any area that you ever want to consider giving to in PSO, our youth programs are tremendous and very, very important to our mission. So we would love to have you support us there anytime you can. So now, our first piece that we'll move into our first short selection. It's just one movement from the Romeo and Juliet suites. This is Montagues and Capulets. And Lee, tell us a little bit about this one.
It's kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde version of music. It's got the 2 families that are that have a lot of strife in between, and then of course Juliet from one side and Romeo on the other.
Yeah.
And it shows the different personalities between the 2 families.
Yeah.
and the Montagues are very, very. The music is very, very pesante and heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Capulets are very, they're very lighthearted and jovial, in nature.
Yeah.
So to have the both families together, it's you could
It's like
definitely
oil
see
and water, right?
oil, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's quite the musical dichotomy there. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Lee,
Yeah.
and thanks, Ernie and Kate. When we come back after this screen, we'll have our great friend Carol. And Ernie, you going to stay on with us for this with Carol? Are you able to do that?
No, I'll be off.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us. And
Have a great night.
and we
I'm
also
looking online.
want to let everybody know that we'll be back again in 2 weeks. We're going to be going every other week again. So next week we'll be off, but we're doing some great planning and work for what we hope to be a very, very nice season that we're rolling out in spite of what's happening with our current situation. Stay tuned for that. I can't really say much more right now, but I think we're all excited about that for sure, on what we're able to do. And any parting words for anybody before we go into our first piece?
Let it roll.
You ready to roll?
Yes.
Let it go.
roll.
Okay,
That's it.
folks, here we are. This is Piedmont Symphony Orchestra, February 2020, Romeo and Juliet, the Montagues and Capulets. Okay, welcome back. That was the great Piedmont Symphony Orchestra performing Montagues and Capulets from Romeo and Juliet. And now we're joined by our great friend and namesake of our art contest, Carol Hertz. Carol, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I miss being with the orchestra.
It's so great to have you with us, and not a lot of people know this, but you know, not only did you serve as our board president for a number of years, but way back my first year in 2005, you and I had this fun conversation at Panera about an art contest. How about that day? Do you remember that?
I remember because I'd never been to Panera's.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is like real town.
So we sat down in Panera, and I had a concept, and I said, how do we do this? And I think you looked at me like I maybe had two heads at first, right?
I did. I truly thought you were crazy.
Yeah. And it turned out that, you know, we put our heads together and we managed to get the word out, get some judges, and do this. And so if people don't know, what happens is these students will submit artwork early in about halfway through the academic year, and we would collect it and give it to a panel of local professional artists to judge it, award prizes, first, second, third place. And then we started to expand the contest because we got a lot of entries in the beginning, didn't we?
We did. Started out with just the lower public grades in Fauquier County.
That's right.
And then we've expanded actually throughout the state.
Yeah. Remember the one year we had to reach out to all around the state because we didn't have enough entries. And then we got clobbered with entries. We had like 150 artwork entries, and we were, oh boy.
And each year they're better.
Uh-oh, we lost you there. Can you hear us still, Carol?
I can hear you.
Okay. We lost your camera. There you are.
There you are.
Hey, you're
back.
back. Excellent. So what was it like? I mean, how was it for you watching this art contest over the years develop?
Well, the first 2 years I was concerned whether we could pull it off successfully.
Yeah.
After that, it just became not overwhelming. It became more and more exciting.
Yeah.
Because what you had suggested, which worked beautifully, was the movements or pieces of music. You coordinated the art with the music.
Yeah.
The instruction to the students at whatever school, wherever,
Mm-hmm.
that they were to listen to the music and then create art.
Right.
And this year, I was just blown away.
Oh, it's
amazing.
amazing.
So many years, but it has become such a beautiful thing to me.
Yeah.
And the kids are excited.
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
And they
so.
watch while the particular movements are going on. The audience is able to watch all the beautiful artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it is very and creative.
Yeah. It's really something to see how different it all is, too, right, with what you get in the submissions.
Some of that's due to the artwork and also the grade level.
Yeah.
But also I see so much growth in the young children.
Yes. Yeah.
More maturity. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
We've had a couple instances where I've tagged a couple of brave souls right before the concert to guest conduct the Star Spangled Banner. I'm sorry, the Stars and Stripes Forever. We've done that a few times too.
Like has their hand over their heart and tears running down.
Yeah. So, Carol, tell us a little bit about some of the professional artists that we have. A lot of artists in Warrenton, don't we?
Quite a few.
It's a hot spot, it seems, for a lot of great creative talent all around in Warrenton. And tell us about some of the judges we've had over the years.
The first year, I begged William Woodward
Mm-hmm.
and his then wife, Becky Parrish,
Right.
to judge it. And they sat in my dining room with all these pieces of art and just said, we can't do it. We just can't do this. And I said, why can't you do it? You have to do it. And they said, because we can't judge children. We think it's morally the wrong thing to do. So then I started passing, the wine around, and they loosened.
That's the good way to do it.
And they finally agreed that they could do that. But it was difficult. Then the next year we had another actually, I think William Woodward came back,
Mhm.
and then Becky Parrish came back, and then after that, we tap anyone who was known as an art teacher or
Mhm.
an artist here in the community, because
Wow,
there are quite a few artists here,
they really are. I
and
always
very
I remembered in a lot of our board meetings, especially when you were president, the number of people in the board that painted, right?
oh
Remember that?
yes, it's very true.
I mean, everybody was talking, "Oh yeah, I painted this," or "I'm taking a painting lesson," and I'm like, what is? It's amazing.
It's
Wow.
all it's all over Fauquier.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I guess it's the rural county and the
Mhm.
beauty, nature,
Mhm.
and people gravitate to this area because of those things.
Yeah.
But thank God we have so many artists and teachers and so forth,
Yeah. It's
because
great.
we can pull them in to help.
Yes. Yes. It's a special event, and especially because we have on the other side of the concert, we've done an episode already on our young artist competition with the 3 young players that play with the orchestra, and they're all just astounding now. I mean, the level of that has gone
They're,
up as well.
they're special.
It's such a fun event for us, though. I think every year it's a little scary because it's always in February, so we don't know about the weather, right? But
Yeah, we're not getting.
we've never
No.
been canceled for the art show,
Hmm.
which is amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing. And then several years back, I think you had been off the board already, but we just decided it was the right thing to name this art contest after you.
It was very thoughtful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we couldn't have done it without you because you're the one who spearheaded it. Once we got the concept down, you took it, and it's been a beautiful event ever since.
It's my favorite event.
Is it?
That is
Yeah.
the young artist contest, the musical artist.
Yeah.
Carol, I hear that from a lot of our players and
Oh, yeah.
audience that this is their favorite concert of it's every year, it's annual, and it's their favorite, it's the highlight of the season for a lot of people, players included.
Yeah. Kate, talk to us also a little bit about we have, obviously I want to keep pushing the mission of PSO with young people. We've got a lot of resources and a lot of things. But the other thing that we have is on both of our streams right now, we have chat windows. We're actually staying more on top of Facebook, but we would love to get questions from anybody about, even if you have a kid who might be interested in the art contest, if they live in the area, they'd be eligible, right? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Also outside of the area, because we've had kids from other
We
counties.
have. Yeah, we have. I think we
Which-
really.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful program because it has the kids listen to the music and then they decide what inspires them. So they may listen to several movements and then say, you know what, this is the one that speaks to me. I want to create something
Mhm.
based on this music.
Yeah.
So, if anybody out there is listening and wants to comment or ask a question, I'm trying to monitor both streams, but
It's
if I
tough.
don't get to you, I'll get to you later. But yeah, please share your thoughts and questions with us. We love seeing those comments come in.
Absolutely. And also, everybody who's listening, the YouTube channel for us is brand new. We're starting to populate it now with our past episodes. But for both platforms, if you're on them, please share them out as much as you can, because a lot of what we do in the short-term future will be online. So we want to make sure we're reaching as many people as possible. It's our concert hall for right now. So Carol, do you have any other words you'd like to add before we go into the beautiful music of the Grand Canyon?
Only that everyone should know in the audience, and that these children's art that's displayed throughout the auditoriums,
Yes, that's right.
everyone can see it. The children get so excited to bring their families
Yeah.
and friends to view their art, and then again to view it when it's being shown during the concert.
Mhm.
It's a win-win situation
It really is.
And- for the children, for the performers, and all the attendees.
Yeah. And it's every year too.
That's
year.
right.
We do it every year. Well, it's so great to see you. It's been a long time. I think I saw you maybe at our last concert
You did.
in February. Yeah, that's right. You're looking great. I'm glad you're doing okay.
Thank you.
PSO is so grateful for everything you've done for us over the last 15 years. I mean, it's just been tremendous. So we can't
Well,
thank you enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Carol, thank you for taking a crazy idea and helping to turn it into something that is just a phenomenal reality. It is
Yes.
really the highlight. It's so wonderful that you were able to take that risk and move this forward and now look at what it's become. I think that's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So the music we're about to hear is from a great piece by Ferda Grofe, the Grand Canyon Suite. American composer, great music, very cinematic, very descriptive music. The titles of the pieces are clearly, I believe, depicted in the music. Wouldn't you say, Lee?
Oh yes.
I mean, and the movements that we have selected for this version of the performance are, let's see, we start off with Painted Desert, which you can imagine the imagery in that, and then it goes into On the Trail, which has a wonderful donkey solo by our concertmaster Lee Brewster on the violin. One of the hardest solos out there, I know.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty tricky.
Yeah. Imagine making a violin sound like a donkey, right? And then followed by that, that will be followed by Cloudburst, which is a very exciting movement. It actually calls for Wind Machine in the score.
Yeah.
And back when it was composed, I'm sure they used those big metal sheets that you rattle for the thunder and all of that. And they had, I think, an electronic device, kind of like a siren, but it didn't make a noise like that. It made a wind sound.
Yeah.
So, but luckily we have many ways to play those sounds now. But that's the essence of this little snapshot from Grand Canyon Suite. And what you'll see is you'll hear the orchestra performing live, but the only thing you'll see will be the artwork in the slideshow that was presented in the concert. Each slide is up for about 10 to 15 seconds, so you can really take it in. And with that, I want to thank you again, Carol, for coming on. I'm glad we got you on tonight.
Easy.
And we'll have you back again on another episode. We got a lot of music like this, so it'd be great to have you back.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you,
guys.
Carol. It was great to see you and talk to you.
Yes.
You-
Thank you.
So,
All of
folks, the Carol M. Hertz Student Visual Art Contest by Piedmont Symphony on to 2 years ago performance, 2018. This is excerpts from Grand Canyon Suite. right. Well, that was the very excellent Piedmont Symphony Orchestra. What an exciting performance, Lee and Kate. You guys really played so well in that rendition of that piece.
Great piece. Loved. You don't get to play it that often.
No.
And I think I've only played it maybe once or twice in my career, and it's such a joy to play, especially at a violin solo.
Oh yeah,
that violin solo has a nice kick to it. That's for sure.
Kate, how about you?
And that cloudburst movement, that's one of my all-time favorite
Isn't it
pieces
fun?
of music right there.
Gosh.
It builds and builds. I just love that.
And you think of the descriptiveness in the writing, the music writing, with the titles of the movements. It's so clear. And I think those kids with that artwork really nailed it,
Oh yeah. Some of them are really mature and just
incredible
breathtaking to watch. To watch with the music. Yeah.
So Kate, you paint as well. So what's it like for you looking at these young people and they're looking at it through their eyes at their age? All of these different things. What's that? What do you see when you're looking at something like that?
I remember. It makes me remember the days when my mom would drive me to art camp or whatever I was doing in the summer. I don't remember what they were called. I'm sure she would know. But going and exploring different techniques, different genres. Because yes, I paint now, but I didn't always. And so it's kind of interesting to see the different medium that the kids are using. Yeah. You see some pastel work, some pencil drawings, some different just different efforts to capture what they're hearing in the music. And I think that's the thing that impresses me the most, is the exploration that I see them doing. Yeah. And I think that's super important as you develop who you are as an artist. Yeah. You have to try, and then you find that one thing that clicks. And it's kind of magical watching the different age groups give their own different interpretations on these pieces as well.
All the attention.
There's different maturity levels, different experiences that come into that.
Yeah. What gets me too is just the striking choice of colors. With
paying attention to detail. I mean, the details is amazing.
Yeah. It's really neat. I love every time we get this artwork and we build the slideshow for the concert. It's a laborious task to shoot all the artwork and build the slideshows and all that, but it's like a high point of my year every year in my house, because everybody can see what I'm shooting, and I'm like, look at this one, oh my gosh, look at this. And then we kind of judge our own outcome based on the artwork, because we have it all in the house, and it's just really neat. It's a fun event. No matter how busy I am at the time, I always love doing this. I love putting the time aside to make this show happen. It's just so exciting for us.
I think it kind of inspires us as musicians.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that, not everybody in the back is seeing the artwork, but it's displayed up in the lobby prior to the concert.
Right.
And it's really interesting to me to know that what they're hearing in the music inspires their artwork, but their responses to the music also seems to inspire our performance.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
It's a mutual thing. It really is.
It is.
It is.
I mean, it's nice to have. I think one of the things PSO really strives to do as well is we try to mix up the different disciplines of art. We have a lot of interdisciplinary experiences with, whether it's with video or now we're doing live streaming, of course. And but we always try to introduce some element to make it a little bit more, a little different. But the young artists or the young people's concert is always a great way for us to spread our wings with that effort. We get to do so many cool creative things. And so
definitely.
Let's talk about the next piece, folks. We have one of our all-time favorites. Again, a piece that it's probably played more than Grand Canyon, but it's still fairly elusive because it's a big piece to produce. It's the Pictures at an Exhibition by Mussorgsky. And this is the one, of course, the famous one orchestrated by Ravel. And if I'm correct, this piece started out as a piano piece initially, and I don't even think it was orchestrated while Mussorgsky was alive.
I don't think so. It was a little bit later. But yeah, if you actually go to a concert or listen to a recording of the piano piece,
version,
it's quite It's
orchestral.
It's very, very orchestrally written, and it's very, very grand. Lots. It sounds like you need 10 hands to play it.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
Anybody who does it is, big kudos to them, because that's a big piece.
So we have a selection of movements from this one, and I'll just tell folks what they are. The piece is based on a set of pictures that Mussorgsky was inspired by to write movements about, and the process of walking through the gallery and looking at the various pictures, it happens in between several of the movements. That's called the promenade.
The promenade. Yeah.
It's like a processional, just a kind of walking in between, walking around a gallery, taking it in. It's always the same theme, slightly changed in the orchestration and everything. So we have the main promenade, which opens the whole piece first. And from there, we go into one of my favorite movements. It's the Old Castle, which is one of the few orchestral pieces that features saxophone. And, of course, our great oboe player from PSO, Bob Renshaw, is playing the saxophone solo. He does a beautiful job on that. After that, we go into another one of the movements, which I think is some of the most, I don't know what the word is, gripping, chilling writing. It's the Catacombs movement, which is scored for heavy brass, and it has some of the most just intense chords and harmony and juxtaposition that a lot of writing. It's one that it's a little bit scary to conduct because it's just so powerful and dark, but it's so good you have to do it. So I chose that one as well. And then followed by that is one of the orchestra's favorite. It's the Baba Yaga movement, which is a funny story. It's, if you can imagine, it's a clock on like fowl's legs, like a rooster's legs, that is a very menacing creature. And I never quite figured out that combination, but it's depicted.
It's kind of disturbing. Yeah.
It is. It's depicted in the artwork, and then that goes right into the finale of the piece, which is the Great Gate of Kiev, and that's another piece I believe many people have probably heard, that particular movement. But so, what's it like for you guys? This piece is like, it's the ultimate in switching gears in your playing, right?
Yeah.
The movements are so radically different, and they all have their unique challenges. Kate, what's it like for you? What are the movements what are your favorite movements in this piece? I'm curious, because I think everybody has some in this piece.
I don't know. I mean, Baba Yaga is just epic. And, there are several metal interpretations of that piece as well out there. So for those of you who know those, so it's definitely something that is, widespread in music.
Yeah.
In terms of the energy behind that music. And I think, the thing that spoke to me most about performing this piece was looking, when I was preparing program notes for the program, not all of the pictures are available for us to look at today.
Right.
So there were a few, I remember, that were not, you couldn't go look at the picture that inspired that piece. So it was kind of interesting that, Mussorgsky was inspired by pieces of art, and then here we are performing it, and then inspiring people to make pieces of art based on what's speaking to them. And, the power of just the breadth and majesty of this music. And Great Gate of Kiev is another one where you get to that point, and it's like this huge wash over you of music and sound. I love every bit of it. This was one of my favorite concerts that we've ever done. So it's hard for me to choose, but Baba Yaga definitely stands out as kind of the more metal symphonic movements of all time.
Yeah, the whole piece has been done, like you said, by a lot of different acts. I think Emerson, Lake and Palmer
interpreted in different ways, and
when I was in undergraduate school, there was a trumpet player who I'd seen at several colleges. I think his name was Vince D. Lombardi, and he did a version of Pictures. He was a trumpeter with multiple trumpets that he switched and organ, and I watched him do that whole thing, and it was stunning.
Wow.
It was so good. And so there's so many ways that it's performed, I don't think Mussorgsky had any idea that it would be such a mainstream piece. It's still very mainstream even today. And so what about you, Lee? What are the movements that speak out to you?
Of course, the Old Castle is one of my favorites. And the Catacombs is it's one of the pieces that is tacit for strings.
Right.
And And so just to take it all in, just listening to the brass play that, it's almost
Yeah.
like you're in a horror movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it gives you chills. I mean, because you have no idea when the next chord is gonna hit, or
Right.
how loud is it gonna be, or
Yeah.
what kind of chord is gonna be. And it shocks you every single time. And of course, the grand finale, the Great Cave, you could actually see, the Great Gate of
Yeah.
Kiev. I mean, it's obvious what it looks like, or what it should look like.
Absolutely.
Very, very tall and very, impressive in design and so forth. And you could just hear the details, and see them,
Right.
So it's quite a great piece. And there are several other movements that really speak to me. Is the movement after the catacombs, the very, very
The dead language.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
dead language. That's another
That's
one.
it's yeah.
That's another
haunting.
oh,
Very
it's a
haunting.
very beautiful moment. Yeah.
Some of the other movements too that people, if you don't know the piece, there's a movement called Ballet of Chicks in Their Shells, and it's
Oh, yeah.
literally little chickens hatching out of their shells,
Yeah.
hopping around all over the place, and it sounds exactly like that.
Yeah.
And then there's the Limoges, which is the busy Paris or the
Yeah.
Parisian market, people bustling around, trying to shop and bumping into each other and everything. Several promenades, of course. But yeah, it's so much color in the piece, so much color in the piece. Well, guys, why don't we move into this fantastic performance of PSO? Again, just doing a select few movements: Promenade, Old Castle, Catacombs, Baba Yaga, and Great Gate of Kiev, all back to back, again, with the beautiful slides of the artwork from our students. And this performance was done last year, correct? This was, last year's Young Artist Competition and Student Art Contest 2019. So with that, we will play this segment for you here, and we'll be back one more time to play a little bit more from Romeo and Juliet. So with that, folks, please enjoy Pictures at an Exhibition. Well, welcome back. That was the electrifying performance of the Piedmont Symphony Orchestra doing Pictures at an Exhibition. What a great piece, huh?
Yeah, amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It just takes me back to all of the. It's a heck of a piece to put together for an orchestra. There's a lot of coordination, and the movements are tricky, and the instrumentation is tricky, the rhythms are tricky, and but it's so worth it, isn't it?
Oh,
My
yeah.
goodness,
Yeah.
my goodness. So now, Kate, how'd you like that Baba Yaga?
That was awesome.
Wasn't it
That was so cool.
so fun?
I love it when that piece starts, when that movement starts, it's immediate.
Yep.
You can't not like it. It just pulls you
No.
in right away.
Yep.
And I thought the artwork in that particular movement was really cool, especially articulating the clock
Yep.
on Fowl's legs.
Yep.
That's just a strange image still. But wow, that was fantastic. And I've seen a lot of the comments coming through that people really enjoy the artwork, which we're really happy about. That's what this is all about, is about these talented students that bring us this amazing art. It's just so neat to be able to do this. So we have one more movement to share with our viewers tonight. This again is the Death of Tybalt from Romeo and Juliet Suites, which we did in February of 2020. Was our last performance together, and this was another one where we had done an episode not too long back with our Young Artist Competition winners, the three of them, and same concert, and what a showcase of talent for this concert. I mean, it's just, again, big mission of the PSO is connecting to our young people, our music education programs, and supporting our teachers in the area. We have many teachers in the orchestra, as many of you know, and we couldn't be happier than to be a part of that mission with them. But so let's think about any other things that we want to say to our audience before we wrap up and play the final selection. Lee, anything you'd like to say to folks before we move into our last piece?
Well, I wanted to say that thank you very much for all of everybody's support and patience through this very difficult time. It's been taxing on everyone, and we just cannot wait to get back together again and make music again. And hopefully in the fall we can at least do some of that.
Right.
And so yeah, you're going to enjoy the next selection of the Tybalt. I guess that would be. And as one person that said to Mozart many years ago, too many notes. there's a too many notes, Your Majesty, too many notes.
Yeah.
And so there's quite a bit of conflict in this one, and it's a great piece to play.
Definitely. Kate, how about you?
Yeah, I remember thinking of this one as death to the first violins, because the amount of pure sawing effort that goes into this piece. But on the other hand, it's really nice to be set loose, kind of, because we play these quiet, very reserved movements sometimes, but then this is one of those pieces that you just go for it. Yeah. And that, to me, that's the most fun I can have on stage.
Absolutely.
So I loved performing this last concert.
Yeah, it was great. So before we sign off, let's talk a little bit about what we're up to right now. We have both of our streams on Facebook and YouTube, and we're also doing a continual drive for fundraising for the PSO. Kate, you want to talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, so I posted a link earlier. I'm going to repost that as well. We're continuing our ongoing Save the Music fundraiser, which is, the bottom line of that fundraiser is to help keep all of us going through all of these shutdowns. And, I know that all of us in PSO and all of us on the board, we're all going through these up and downs, right? We're optimistic, but then we realize that we're not going to be able to bring our patrons a full symphonic work like we would love to do. But it's all about trying to find the bright spots in that and still bring music to everybody, because at the end of the day, that's our job. Our job is to bring music to every member of PSO and every member of our audience, and to share that experience with you. So whether we're doing it through these live streams on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, or whether we're able to bring you some performances in the regular season, the goal is still the same. It's still to connect everyone through this universal language.
Absolutely.
And, we really look forward to doing that. But your contributions, your donations are helping us to keep everything strong, PSO strong.
Yeah.
And, we know the end is going to come. We're going to be back to normal at some point. So we're going to keep doing what we can until then.
Yeah. And we have, we have a lot of exciting plans coming up for this coming season in a time when a lot of organizations are having to kind of table things. PSO is finding a way to be able to bring you some live performances. So stay tuned for that. Please tell your friends that you will be able to enjoy music with the Piedmont Symphony starting in the fall for sure. So
and in true PSO fashion, we're going to take a challenge and turn it into an opportunity.
That's it.
And that's what we're going to bring to you guys.
Yes.
So stay tuned for more news on that.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thanks both of you for tonight, for being on air with us, and for our great discussions that we had. We've got this one great piece left, and again, it's part of the mission of the PSO is to really support our young musicians and young artists as they find their voice, and we try to give them as much guidance as we can and opportunity.
Yeah.
So this is another one of those things. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again so much for tuning in. Remember, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Stay tuned for important season information. We'll be rolling some of that out, hopefully within the next couple of weeks here. But PSO will be there for you, so we want you to be there for us as well. Definitely. All right, thank you guys so much again. And with that, we will go into The Death of Tybalt by Romeo and Juliet. Good night, Lee. Good night, Kate. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Any parting words, anybody?
Love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll get together very soon. Yeah, stay healthy. Stay well.
Yeah. Kate?
Enjoy the music. We're very happy to bring that to you when we can, and I think that's helping everyone get through all this.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Enjoy.
All right, thanks, guys. Good night, and enjoy Piedmont Symphony Orchestra.